the fuck is that guy?
I make my own moves, yeah, I'm bossing.
All weak bitches, please proceed to the exit.
Is there no one else? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
We are not for the weak.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Not for the Week podcast. It's your boy James.
It is thou boy Jay.
God damn it, dude. What is thou boy?
It is thy.
I don't think that's the right word.
It is thy boy.
Thy liege.
This is thy liege Jay.
Jayeth.
Thy liege.
Of house fuck boy.
Of
With that fucking
thy fucketh kingdom.
fucketh kingdom.
The fucketh kingdom.
The fucketh kingdom. That's kind of sounds like a low budget porn right there.
Fucketh king. Yeah.
Fucketh.
Like some like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones porn. We always talk about porn, dude.
Game of fucking
Game of porn.
game of anal. No?
Yeesh.
I don't know if that
It's
works.
violent.
That sounds aggressive.
That sounds very aggressive.
But that sounds very like Game of Thrones. Like Game of Thrones is aggressive. So
That's what I hear.
If you're gonna do a porno based on it, it has to have an aggressive title. I feel like
Game of anal.
doesn't even flow right.
It just seems so.
It's not Game of Fisting, bro.
Game of that would be better.
Game of Fist. Ew. Anyway, if you're still with us after that, that's appreciate you for not tuning out. We're back. Before we get too far into it, though, make sure you guys are leaving 5-star reviews because you're awesome.
Also, tell a friend. Also, actually write a review and leave a 5-star review.
Oh yeah.
Also,
Details.
we
Notfortheweek.com.
we
Grab
love
some
you
merch.
guys.
What?
We love them.
We love you.
We love you guys.
We love you.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, today we got a special guest. It's our buddy Dean Perrone.
Dan Perrone.
I've known him for quite some time. Jimmy's met him a couple times, and we were actually with 5% Nutrition back in the day. It was quite some time now. Actually, I can't remember. It's probably like 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
A hot second.
It's like 4 years ago, at least 3 years ago.
No, it was longer than that.
Yeah, it was like before I met you.
Yeah.
So it was like 4 years ago. Anyway, yeah, we were met each other when we were both with 5% Nutrition, and kind of just stayed in touch. He's a cool dude. He's a dad and also competes in physique at the NPC level, and he's with Sledge Nutrition now, which is Seth Ferrosi's company. So making some big moves. Actually doing not just an athlete with Sledge, he's actually working with the company. So some cool stuff, and it's a cool podcast. I think we talk about some good stuff. Talk about sponsorships nowadays with like the Instagram world. We talk a little bit about the glory days of 5% and
Some Rich Piana
highlights. R.I.P. Rich. And we talk about kind of like what differentiates some of these supplement brands nowadays.
And we also talk about food.
And how dieting sucks and cardio is the worst.
Yes.
Yep. Anyway, it's a good episode. Stay tuned and enjoy.
Is it 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock where you guys are?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the earliest Jeremy's been up in a while.
No, that's a lie. I wake up at 5:30 every single day of the week. I tried to sleep in today, but my son woke up crying. So I woke up at 5:30 again. It sucks.
The one day you get to sleep in.
Dude, it happens every single Saturday.
Yeah.
Every Saturday I try to sleep in. I wake up at the same time anyways.
Yeah, I can't even sleep in anymore if I tried.
Yeah.
Don't you work out like hella early too?
Huh?
Don't you work out like super early in the morning?
Yeah. Like during the week we work out at 4:30. And then on the week, like the gym that we go to, it used to be an old Gold's, and Monday through Friday they're open 24 hours, but on like Saturday and Sunday they don't open till 6. But even still, like we won't set our alarms on Saturday or Sunday, but like my body I just wake up like 4:35, no matter what. I'm just like up. So then like even this morning we went right at 6 o'clock.
I don't know how you do that, man. That's crazy. I can't.
But
My body doesn't work at that early.
Yeah, I couldn't think about it. Dude, I wake up at my alarm goes off at 5:30, and I'm like, nope. I don't even want to go to work. You've already been at the gym for like an hour by that time.
He's already got a gnarly pump by then.
Jesus, that's crazy.
Yeah, I just don't know how you get a pump that early. Like I'm just so like everything's stiff. Nothing wants to work. Like the blood's not moving. It would take me literally probably an hour to warm up if I were to try to work out at 4:30 in the morning.
Dude, that's every day. Anyways.
Well, dude, what's crazy is like I always used to work out at like later in the day, like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And my wife used to work out. This is before she worked out at a different gym, and she worked out at like 5:30 in the morning. You know, she'd go with another girl, and I used to always say that. I'm like, I have no idea how you work out that early, you know, whatever. And now for like the last 3 years, like me and her will go to the same gym, and we're there. I mean, you know, even earlier, I'm there at like 4:30, 4:45. But I used to say that all the time. I'm like, there's no way I could work out that early.
Yeah.
But now I'm just used to. I've been doing it for like 3 years, so now I'm like used to it.
What made you want to switch over to training early in the morning as opposed to training later in the day?
Basically, I had no choice because, like you know, because we got 4 daughters, and there for a long time she was driving them everywhere, like all the practices and all that stuff. Well, when the 2 older ones started playing travel soccer, we had all of them play soccer, but we had 2 on 2 different travel teams. So like one was going here, one was going there. The other 2 were playing like rec soccer, and another one of them was in dance. So at a certain point, she's like, "Dude, you need to help start driving these kids somewhere." So I just started working out in the morning, so I'm free like later in the day.
Damn.
So I was kind of told I had to.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes, man. The wifey says, "Hey, you need to start doing this." You're like, "Yes, okay."
Yeah.
Right away.
Damn kids.
Damn kids. That's a lesson. I'm gonna remember that for me.
Thank God I only have one, and he's 5 weeks old.
Yeah. It'll get worse. Wait till he starts playing soccer.
I know. He'll probably play rugby.
Oh man. Yeah, your body probably just kind of adjusted it to it though. Probably. How long did it take, you think, for you to adjust to?
I don't know, man. I don't think it took me that long.
Yeah. Were you already up at that time normally, or was that like?
Well, not that early. I mean, I would get up maybe around. I used to get up, I'd say probably around 6. Okay. You know, because I have a treadmill right here in the bedroom. So I'd get up sometimes and like jump on that and watch TV. I'd watch like ESPN and I'd do some cardio or something. So, but it was, I would say it's around 6 is when I used to get up, because she was always gone to the gym before I even got up, when she used to go at like 5:30.
That's crazy. Dedication right there.
Yeah.
Shout out to your wife for kicking ass. So you're prepping for a comp right now, right? You're doing a contest coming up?
Yeah, I'm doing one. It's going to be August 17th. Like, originally I was on schedule to do on August 10th, and I didn't look at any of the local shows or anything like that. And this show that's August 10th is about like 3 hours away. I don't know the size of the show because I had never done it before, but I was just complaining to another girl here on Instagram that's local also, and she's competed and stuff. And she was like, she's got some friends also doing the show August 10th. And she's like, "Oh, I wish I could come to you guys' show, but I'm tied up that day, you know, whatever." And we're DMing back and forth, and I go, "Shit!" I didn't even know where that show was when I decided to do it. If I knew where it was, I probably wouldn't have done it. Which I still hadn't paid for anything. And that's what she said. She goes, "Why don't you just do the Florida States, which is a bigger show?" She goes, "It's 1 week later." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" Like I didn't even look. So I just literally right at that moment, this just happened like earlier this week. I'm like, I started talking to Tracy, you know, my wife, and I'm like, "Dude, Florida States is literally the next week. It's right here in Orlando." So I'm like, there's no 3-hour drive each way. I'm like, I'm not going to have to spend $500 on a hotel, because if I go up there, you know, I got Friday for check-ins and tanning. So I'd have a hotel Friday, hotel Saturday. Yeah. And so here in Orlando, there's one, it's a bigger show. And I'm like, dude, I can just drive there for check-ins, get tan, come home, sleep in my bed, go back the next morning, do the show. So it was like a no-brainer, really. So no fee on hotels, no drive time. And then it also gives me another week to prep. So I'm like, right. And the way I snack and eat, I'm like, as many weeks as I can get.
It's been a while since you did a show. Yeah.
Yeah. 2017 is when I did the last one. So 2 years.
Nice little layoff in between. How you
And
feeling?
it's weird too because I think I first started competing in 2013, and then I took like 2 years off. I did a couple shows in 15, 2 years off again. I did 2 shows in 17, and now it's 19. So it's like every 2 years, which wasn't planned. I mean, it just kind of worked out that way. So, yeah, I feel good, man. Feel good.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm the heaviest I've been. This whole prep, like all my shows, I've kind of been, I hit the stage probably in the 180s. And as you know, I mean, you've competed, like, obviously that week before the show, I'm going to drop some pounds, but I've been in the 180s like every show, and I still have not broke 200 pounds yet. Yeah, like my weight, I'm obviously I've leaned out. I mean, if you see me on Instagram, and but my weight's been teetering like 200 to 203. I'm not really losing weight, but I'm still lean. And even this morning, I have a scale. I have 2 scales, but one of them that I've been using, has decimal points or whatever. And I got on it this morning, and I was like 200.00. And I just laughed. I'm like, dude, I can't break 200 pounds. What the fuck?
It's just fucking with you now.
Yeah, which, I mean, for me, I'd rather come in heavier and bigger and lean, but it's like, and the scale doesn't mean much. I mean, obviously, but it correlates with like, I'm dropping weight, I'm dropping body fat, and it makes you think, whatever. So it has fucked with me a lot because I'm like, I'm used to the scale in past preps. I mean, there's some weeks where I'd lose 5 pounds, 7 pounds, whatever. Yeah. And I think for my whole prep, I've lost about 15 pounds. That's it.
Yeah. That's kind of how my prep went this year is the same thing. Like I was like 240 all the way up until like 3 weeks out from the show.
Yeah.
I was not losing. I maybe lost like 10 pounds going into that, but and then that last 3 weeks I dropped another 10, 12 pounds or whatever.
Yeah.
It just fucks with your head though. Like you were saying, it's a mind thing. Big time.
Yeah, dude. Like I was like 201 point whatever yesterday. And I just thought when I got on there today and it was like 200.00, I laughed because I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I can't do it. But like you said, I imagine one of these weeks I'll have that 2, 3, 4 pound drop.
Yeah.
And I checked in this morning and he just upped my cardio. So we'll see next. I check in every Saturday. So we'll see next week. I'm sure I'll drop a little bit finally. Hopefully.
How much cardio are you doing now?
I haven't been doing much cardio, man, which I'm prepping with Jack, Jack Ferrantini.
Yeah.
And he did both my shows in 2017, and he's doing this one. And he's not a big cardio guy, man. He's more of a diet guy and keep cardio minimum. So like right now I've been doing. I was only at like 120 minutes a week, which is nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
It's nothing, and then we went to like 160 and 190 or something like that. And then I forgot what he told me today, maybe like 240 minutes or something. But there's people at my gym that are prepping for that same show I was going to do August 10th. And they've been doing 2 hours a day. Like I talked to them and this is going back like 2-3 weeks ago. Yeah. They're doing 2 hours of cardio. They're doing like an hour fasted cardio and an hour like post workout. Dude, they've been doing that already for weeks. And I'm like, I've been doing like nothing compared to that. So, but I'll step it up now a little bit and try to make that final push here. I got 4 weeks from today, so yeah, plenty of time.
It's crazy. There's so many different ways to do it, and people respond so differently. Like,
oh yeah,
I don't know how it is for you either, but like as I'm getting older, like the amount of cardio I had to do is way more. Like this past prep, I was doing like an hour a day basically.
Yeah.
And in all my previous preps, I'd never done more than like 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
It's just like the body's like not paying attention. It's like, nah, man, you got to work a little harder.
It really is weird too, like you said. And I know you've prepped a couple times. You've done multiple shows, right?
It was like 4 years between shows though for me.
Yeah. So that's what's weird is like I've said, I've done, I think I've done 6 shows or whatever. And, every couple of years, it's amazing how like even your own body from prep to prep to prep is completely different. It's your body, obviously I guess age has a lot to do with it, but stuff just changes. So and even like me, like with that whole weight thing, that's what it's definitely messing with my mind. I'm like, cause I'm used to, like I said, like, in past preps, and I'm sure you've had it where there'd be weeks where you don't lose anything, or you might lose like a pound,
Yeah.
Always had those weeks where I'll drop like 7, and that kind of makes up for those other weeks.
Right.
But I haven't had any, like it's been super, super slow, but I'm like, but I had a DEXA scan, which I've never done one. Have you ever had one of those?
No.
Okay, so I went, it's probably about 4 weeks ago, I guess, is when I had it. So I went and had a full body DEXA scan or whatever. I went to some place here in Orlando that had it. And even 4 weeks ago, I think they had me at 9%.
Oh, wow.
So which was lower than I thought. Like I had no idea what I was. So that was about 4 weeks ago, and I'm leaner now than then. So I'm probably going to try to do another one of those, maybe like the week of the show. But I've never really done one. Have you ever had your body like fat?
I've done some body fat stuff before. It's tough because unless you're getting like some scientific one like the DEXA or like the water ones, like it all depends who pinches you or whatnot. But
yeah,
it is cool to see though to track that. Like I've never done that during a prep though.
Yeah, see that I've never done one. Well, I've never done a DEXA scan. I've done some other ones, but I've never done one close to the show. So that's what obviously the show's on a Saturday. I thought about maybe going and getting one like the Monday of that week, just to see like where I'm at. I've never done that before, so I'm curious to do it then, like the week of the show, to see just how low I am.
Yeah, no, that would definitely it'd be cool, and especially like a lot of those body fat things get like a lot of shit, but like if you're doing the same one consistently, it doesn't matter how accurate the actual number is as long as you can track the progress. That's the coolest part of that, right? Because like you were saying, you're not losing any weight necessarily, but you're getting leaner. So
yeah, well, that's what Jack so he's the one that told me go get this done, and he wanted to check like my visceral fat because it checks all that stuff, and because my weight wasn't moving, he was concerned maybe I was holding a lot of visceral fat, and because he said he sends, he does a lot of lifestyle clients and stuff like that. But he was even saying, he's like, I'll send some of these like women clients that aren't like into working out hugely, but he's like, I know some of them are probably home drinking wine every night and whatever. But he's like, I'll send them for the DEXA scan. They come back and they got like 4, 5, 6 pounds of just like visceral fat right in their belly. And so we were wondering if I had something going on, and my visceral fat was like 0.7. Oh, so I didn't even have like a pound of visceral fat. So he was happy though. I was at like 9%, like less than a pound of visceral fat. But he was like, what that tells us is though, he goes, I think when I was on stage in 2017, I was like 184 pounds. But he's like, now you're over 200 and still getting lean. He goes, what that tells me is anyways that in the last 2 years, you put on some good tissue that you're holding on to. So it was cool to hear that and to know that stuff, because I don't know how all that shit works really.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about taking like time between shows like that, like 2 years or whatever. Like you can really make some serious progress. Like I'll see some guys and they'll do like back-to-back shows, and then they'll maybe take like a short off season, and it's like you're not going to make a ton of progress if you're always in this deficit and always cutting for a show. Like,
yeah, there's some guys around here, man, that I've seen do like 7 shows in 1 year, 5 years, or 5 shows in a year. And I'm like, good. I mean, the dedication is like, I tip my hat to him, but it's like, fuck, dude, your body's got to be hating you.
Oh, 100%.
Like you said, like you're in a deficit like all year round. Like, dude, it's just, I don't know.
It's just miserable.
Yeah, dude. I haven't even been super strict on my diet the way I should be, and I'm like miserable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I like to eat, dude. Like, I'm a food guy, big time. So it's like, that's what I tell anybody about prep. I'm like, dude, I can go to the gym 7 days a week. I don't even mind cardio 7 days a week, but it's like, I mean, dude, the food is like, and that's the most important thing. It's like, but
you can be off with the training a little bit, but if you're off with your diet, it fucks.
Oh
up.
yeah.
Yeah, how are you managing that? Because like you're the big diet starts tomorrow kind of guy. Like,
yeah, it's tough, man. Like, I haven't been too bad. Like, my weakness is what's gotten me this prep a little bit is like rice cakes with peanut butter, which don't even sound appetizing to most people. If you do prep and stuff, it's like it's one of my like favorite like snacks, dude. I'll just take rice cakes with peanut butter, sometimes jelly on them too, and big on granola. Like I've been eating like granola is like terrible because it's just like
it's like the worst.
So high calorie, fat, sugar, and I'll get into like granola, dude, and just start eating like handfuls of it. And then my wife's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, what are you doing right now?
That's the worst thing is the serving size on granola is like fucking a hand, like not even a handful.
Yeah. Most of them I think are like 30 grams or something, which is like you said, it's like a little portion in your hand. And you're like, I could smash this bag in like 2 minutes, like a whole bag.
The bag is the serving size. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, what's crazy is I think most bags are like, they say like 11 servings, you know what I mean? So like a bag is normally like, might be like 1,200 calories. Like, I'm like, dude, I'll smash a bag in like a heartbeat, dude. It's like,
it's disgusting. I don't think I've ever been as conscious of how many calories are in such shitty foods, but taste so amazing as after this last show. Like I had like, I dieted really fucking hard for the show, and like I've just been craving all these foods, and I'm just so conscious now. Like yesterday I was sitting at home, and my girlfriend bought these mint chocolate chip Oreos, and I was like, dude, those sound so good. So I had like 2, and then I had 2 more. I ended up having like 6 or so, and I looked at how many calories I was. It was like 600 something calories and like 60 grams of carbs. I was like, fuck, my day's ruined now.
Hell yeah, dude.
it's like cereal, dude. I know you like cereal too. Cereal's the same way. Like a serving size of cereal. Like I can eat I can take a big bowl and pour an entire box of Fruity Pebbles in it and eat the whole box.
Yeah.
But you look at like a serving of any cereal and it's like 3 spoonfuls. Like who the hell makes this up?
I want to know the motherfucker that's actually eating 1 serving of cereal. Like, fuck that dude. Who came up with that?
That dude doesn't even like cereal. Who eats 1 serving?
You can't eat just 1 serving of cereal.
does,
Get the
dude.
fuck out of here.
Oh, it's so small. But dude, cookies, it's funny you mentioned like Oreos. Yeah, obviously I eat a lot of Oreos too. It's the same thing the first time I ever looked at. You ever look at like the back of Girl Scout cookies?
Oh god,
They're even worse.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, they're crazy. It's the
Samoa
same.
cookies.
Oh yeah, those are
are
probably
my
the worst ones.
Those are my favorite ones.
And it's the same thing. It's like who eats like 1 or 2 cookies? Like, you know, I mean, I like you said, you end up having like 6 or 7 every time you eat any cookie, pretty much.
Well, you get like multiple Girl Scout cookie boxes, so that way you know like which whole box you're going to eat in one sitting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have options.
Yeah.
You get the Thin Mints, then you get like the Samoa cookies, and then you get another Samoa cookies because you're going to eat the first package right away.
And it's one of those things where the sleeve, that is the serving size.
Yeah.
That box is 2 servings, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll
Maybe.
see. Depending on how fast I eat it.
Yeah. Whoever came up with serving sizes for some, like the fact that they even put like 1 cookie as a serving size is like it's like disrespectful.
It's like the old. Remember, everybody was eating the Lenny and Larry's cookies. Remember, like serving is actually only half. Like half a cookie is actually a serving. I'm like, who the hell does that?
Oh man, I remember when those first came out. Everyone was like, "Oh, I'm so healthy." I was probably one of them. I was like, "Oh man, I'm eating a healthy cookie right now." And then you look at the back, and you're like, "Holy shit, this is like a meal right here."
Yeah. That's how it is with like those Sin-Fit cookies too. It's the same way.
And those are even smaller.
Yeah, those are.
Yeah.
Have you had those?
Oh yeah.
They're so good, but they have like 15 grams of fat in it and like 46 grams of carbs and like 4 grams of protein. I'm like, wait a second. It's a protein cookie? It has 4 grams of protein in it? 46 grams of carbs? Holy shit.
It's a carb cookie.
Yeah, birthday cake flavor, so it makes sense.
Dude, I remember when Rich used to do he wouldn't count those as meals. That was the snack.
Yeah, all the time. Remember that? It's not a meal; it's a snack. Meanwhile, it's like 400 calories.
Yeah, right. That's half of somebody's calories right there for a day.
He used to always say that, man. I remember that whatever that one company is called, Buff Bake or something like that. I remember when I was with 5%, I remember posting. This was like kind of before Rich started eating the Lenny and Larry's. I remember I was posting like the Buff Bake cookies and eating them, and on Instagram they reached out to me and told me not to post those. They didn't want me posting like protein cookies or whatever. And then like it was like a month later, Rich started doing the Lenny and Larry's all the time. Then like everybody was posting the Lenny and Larry's, and I'm like, dude, you guys just yelled at me like a month ago for the Buff Bakes. Now it's okay, you know. I'm like,
it's because Rich didn't like the Buff Bake ones.
Yeah. But everybody was eating those Lenny and Larry's for a while.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I think I had one not too long ago. I think they came out with like a new flavor, and I was at the vitamin shop, and they had one. It was like the chocolate peanut butter or something like that.
Yeah,
when you haven't had it in a while, it was fucking good.
Yeah, they are. The only thing about those cookies, man, it seems like a lot of all these like protein cookies, they're inconsistent, right?
Oh,
you notice that like you have one and you're like, damn, like you said, you're like, this is good. It's soft, whatever. And you get one like a month later and you're like, dude, this is fucking terrible. It's like hard as a rock.
It's a
You're
brick.
like, yeah.
That happens with Quest cookies a lot.
I really messed with
Quest. The first time I ever had a Quest cookie, I had like their Snickerdoodle one. Super good. And then the same thing, like a week later or something, I bought it again because it was really good the first time I had it. And I bit into it and I was like, this tastes like shit. Why does this taste so bad?
That's what I've noticed with a lot of them. I mean, like, and you can't really single out a company. It's like they're all like that. I find like they're so inconsistent, man.
Yeah. It's disappointing for sure. Especially when they're like $4 or whatever.
I know. They're always like an arm and a leg to get a cookie.
Oh man, you're with a lot of those companies. They look pretty good though. Like what you're with Sinfit actually. Right?
Yeah. I've been with Sinister Labs for a long time actually, and then when Wicked Cuts started as well. Because Sinister Labs and Wicked Cuts is owned by Scott James, who actually used to own BSN back in the day.
Yeah.
And he owns Wicked Cuts with Branch Warren, right. They're partners or whatever. And so I was with Sinister Labs. I don't know how long it's been now. They reached out to me right when they were launching, Wicked Cuts, and they were like, you want to join us here as well? And I was like, sure, man. Like yeah, some beef jerky, because I think they had already launched, and I think I bought some. I actually bought some, and I liked it. And it was literally like a week later, he reached out to me and was like, "Hey, do you want to come work with us?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." So I've been with Wicked Cuts basically too since they launched that company.
That's right on. Yeah, I've had some of the Wicked Cuts stuff. It's pretty good stuff. Although I love beef jerky just in general, so you can't really.
Yeah, dude. I be honest, man. I eat a lot more Wicked Cuts than I do like any of the Sinister Labs stuff. Just. Especially now in prep, dude, it's like I'm not pounding peanut butter. I mean, I still do sometimes, but I shouldn't be. But the Wicked Cuts is good because, I mean, it's, fairly just mostly protein, super low carb, fairly low calorie. So, but it's good. All the flavors of Wicked Cuts are really good.
Yeah. I bet that's a nice little snack on prep.
Yeah, it's good, man. I enjoy it for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. It's cool to see though. Like you're one of the few guys out there that seems like you're working with a bunch, because you always see, especially on social media, like you see a bunch of people and they're just with all these different companies, but you're like one of the few people I've actually seen that's representing a bunch of companies that actually genuinely uses and seems like that you really enjoy the products. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. Like I haven't. I don't feel anyways like I've jumped from a lot of companies and so it's like a lot of the companies that I've worked with or work with now, it's like I use the products and I like them. So and that's the thing. It's like I just feel like if I wasn't really using the products, like everybody wants free stuff, right? Obviously. 100%. And so, I get a lot of free stuff every month from all these companies, but I use them, and it's like, if I didn't use them, like I wouldn't, number one, morally and ethically, like I wouldn't want to be promoting something like I don't use. And if I really wasn't using them, why the fuck would I want them? Like, right. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want them just to have free stuff. So, I mean, all the stuff, like, the Sinister Lab stuff, the Wicked Cuts, I've been with Herb Strong with the CBD stuff for a while, which I mean, that stuff has been a huge help, like sleep wise for me. And, so I take that. And then, that's it. Like I do work with like the Chicken Pound, which just came in huge as well. Cause I mean, that's pretty much like all the chicken that I've been eating like the last year almost.
Boom.
Obviously, I mean, get free chicken from like, who doesn't want free chicken? So there's like,
that's the dream right there.
Yeah. So, and then obviously Axe and Sledge is the main company I'm working with and all that. So, but yeah, I mean, I try to find a company that I like, and if I like the products, and then, promote that company and stay with that company. So
yeah, I think
all the other stuff is just, the perks that come along with it.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest issue I have with like where like the fitness market on like social media is nowadays. Like everyone wants to be like that big influencer. Everyone wants like the big sponsorships, and they're just looking for companies to sponsor them. They're not, but like it has to be organic. Like you actually have to enjoy the products. Like
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you have a sponsorship with a company that you don't respect or actually use. Like,
yeah, I've talked to a lot of people who like I know personally, and they're like, yeah, man, I just really wanted a sponsorship. He's like, these products actually suck. He's like, but I promote them because they give me free stuff. And I'm thinking in my head, like, what the fuck, dude? Like, really? Like, wait a minute. You're a part of a company who sends you free stuff and you don't even like it? Yeah. And you're like telling people to buy it just because you want a sponsorship, because you want to like get your name out there? That's crazy to me.
Yeah, like to me, and I've done like rants, not like on my Instagram page, but I've done tons of like rants on my story about that. Just, and I know, we've been friends on Instagram for a long time now, and I'm sure you guys have seen it as well.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest things I hate is, and I've seen people, I mean, even people like that I know, like and stuff, and then obviously tons of people online that I don't really know, but you see people going from, they're not even with a company, but like you said, they're trying to get with the company.
Yeah.
And so they're promoting a different company, like literally like almost every month, it seems like. And every product they post is like the best. Like they always use, they always use that term. Like, this is the best on the planet. This is the best on the market. And then it's like a month and a half later, they're promoting this company. And it's like, this is the best pre-workout on the market. And then 2 months later, this is the best. And I'm kind of like, you look like an idiot. Like,
which one's the best?
You have zero credibility to me right now.
Exactly. That's what it is. It's like, dude, you're losing so much, and you look so thirsty for. Like you said, they're just out there trying to find a company to like support, or to they can get with, and it's like that's what I told people. So I'm with Axe and Sledge, and we just started this ambassador program, right? And so we bring it on called the Demo Crew and all that, and we have a Facebook group. We have an Axe and Sledge Facebook group now. I think it has probably 17 or 18,000 people in it already. And then we have a separate one for like the Demo Crew. And I've spoke about it in both of those groups that I'm like you said, you have to kind of be passionate about a company. You like use the products, and enjoy the products and like them and stuff like that. Instead of just, it's not really about like, oh, I get to put this in my Instagram bio so people think I'm cool.
Right.
Like nobody, at the end of the day, nobody gives a shit. Like
No,
what
100%.
like people don't care like what's in my bio. Like, in fact, I wouldn't even really put all that stuff in my bio. Like the companies that I work with, they want,
yeah,
they
you have to
put that
in there.
bio, they part of the company. So, but like, I think so many people, like you said, the way it's gone now on social media, it's like, I want to be with this company. So, I look cool when I'm sponsored by this company, which most companies aren't even really doing like full sponsorships. Like some of us have been lucky enough to get them. But a lot of companies are going the way of like more of the ambassadorship type thing. And I think that's just, when I see that happening all the time, like you said, you lose like so much credibility. And I get questions a lot, and I'm sure you do as well, where people send me a DM and say, hey, how do you get sponsored by these companies, or how do you work with so many companies? And truthfully, almost every company I've ever worked with, and even like the companies I work with now, like I was a buying customer, you know what I mean? Before. So like I bought the products and I was buying the products and posting about them with, I wasn't looking for anything. And some of these companies, especially now, I mean, they reach out to you and they've asked me to come work with them. And that's kind of what you want. Like you said, you make it organic where the company sees you like, oh, this guy's busting his ass. He's buying our products. He's using our products and he's promoting them. He has nothing to do with our company as of now, but why don't we bring this guy aboard? And I think people don't realize that. It's like companies aren't just out there trying to snatch you up if you're not doing shit or you're not even using products. Or if they see you and like the last 6 months you promoted 6 different supplement companies that are the best on the market, like why all of a sudden do they want to bring you on board? You know what I mean? And to me, it's like common sense, but like, fuck, some people just don't get it. I'm like, no. It should be common sense.
It's so like, and everyone's especially like when I was running Gunsmith with Rob, it's the same thing. It's like everyone would always reach out to us and be like, oh, like we want to be sponsors. It's like, well, have you ever bought one of our products before? Have you ever like, have you been following us for a long time, or did you just find us and you saw, oh man, that looks like a cool company, maybe they'll sponsor me? Like Jeremy was actually like, when we first met Jeremy was a customer. He was buying a bunch of our stuff. And he eventually became part of the company because he's a cool dude. He was always repping our stuff. And we found out that people that like reached out to us, or the people that we reached out to that were actually supporters of the company, and we brought them in and got them involved in the company. Those were the most valuable ambassadors that we had.
Yeah.
Like, we reached out to a couple athletes and we were like, hey, we targeted them and like, hey, we'd like you to represent our brand. And those ones never worked out as well as the ones that were organic, buying our stuff, representing
Sure.
the company already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and that's the thing. Like, I think it's funny when, even especially now, because I'm kind of like heading up a lot of this stuff for Axe and Sledge, and I get DMs all the time, both on Facebook and Instagram. It's the same thing. It's like, hey, man, I want to be a part of the company, and they've never bought a single product, and it's like why? Like, why? How do you know you even like the product? How do you know anything?
Because you want to hang out with Seth. That's
Yeah,
why you want to be a part of the company.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's like, oh, well, Seth is awesome. It's like, well, yeah, a lot of people like Seth, but dude, what about the supplements? Do you like the company? And I don't know. To me, it's just common sense, man. And a lot of people, it just surprises me that, like you said, a lot of people just think everybody's out to get like sponsor you and give you free stuff, and it's not really like that. And like you said, it's the guys that really aren't looking for something. They're not looking for a handout. Those are typically, the guys that will bust their ass and do more work for you and promote the company the way you want and stuff like that. So I don't know.
How you liking all that Axe and Sledge? Like, because you've been with them for pretty good while right now. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So it was basically it was like about 2 weeks after the Arnold of this past year.
Yeah.
So I was with I was with 5% obviously for about 3 years or whatever. And when I left them, I went with Cass Martin and her Work Ethic Subs brand. She was just launching. She hadn't even launched actually yet. But I got with her, and then like in September of October, I guess it was of 17, and she actually didn't launch the company until November. But so we did that, and but I obviously, like everybody, I know Seth. I knew him kind of, and so over the last like 3 years, just being at the expos, even when I was with 5%, I'd stop over and talk to Seth, more just like anybody else, kind of like a fan. Followed him on YouTube and Instagram and all that, and just thought he was a cool dude, obviously. And so I knew he had his company going, and I had actually bought his pre-workouts, and then I had bought, even when I was with Cass, I paid same thing, bought a customer, it's right, shocking, right? So I bought some of his products of exercise because I wanted to try them, and one of the owners, Mike, that's with Seth, one of the partners, he had messaged me on Instagram maybe like a month before the Arnold and said, hey, we just got out of a meeting. Seth and Bobby bring up your name a lot. We'd like, he's like, I'd like to talk to you to see if you want to come work with us. And, my response was, I'm like, oh, well, I'm currently with Cass Martin and Work Ethic Subs. And he was like, I know. Like, they told me that. But he's like, I still like to talk to you. So I'm like, all right. So we kind of just went back and forth a little bit. We kept kind of missing each other on Instagram. We were just going, DM for DM. And then it was about a week before the Arnold. He actually messaged me and said, hey, man, come find us at the Arnold, obviously, and we'll talk. So at the Arnold, I was there. I went over and met with them, and we talked for like a half hour. And it was just nothing, bad against Cass or Work Ethic Subs. It's like I kind of just wanted to be more of a part of the company, more part of the growth, just be more involved and stuff like that. And because that's just the way I am. It's like I don't really want to be just kind of like what we've been talking about. It's like I don't want to have something just to be part of the company and put it in my Instagram bio. Like I want to be part of the company, like do stuff with it. So when I met with Mike, he was just rattling off like, dude, we want you to do this, we want you to do that. You can do this. Like, it was like music to my ears. And I'm like, shit, man. And obviously being with Seth, like I said, I was a big fan of Seth and I think he's great. And, so Mike's rattling off all this stuff that they had ideas for me to do. And I would kind of be the man coming in to help with everything. And I was like, all right, I was like, give me, a week or two to kind of just figure out what's going on. And so it was right after the Arnold, I contacted Cass and told her, I said, hey, I think I'm just going to part ways and go, separate with her. And she was cool with everything. I'm friends with her. And, she said, whatever, just what you would imagine. She's like, oh, let us know if you ever need anything, whatever. So I joined up with them, right after the Arnold. And it's been awesome, dude. It's literally everything that I wanted plus more. I think they're getting ready to bring me back up to Pittsburgh, which will, again, this is just since March after the Arnold. And this will be like the 4th time they're flying me up to Pittsburgh to do a bunch of stuff. Right. Like I said, I'm kind of helping run the Facebook group, that has like 17,000, 18,000 people, helping run the Demo Crew Facebook group. They're using me for a lot of the content and stuff like that. Every time I'm up there, I've done a couple of YouTube videos on Seth's channel, which is awesome. Right on. A lot of great exposure with him, of course. And then another really cool thing we've been doing is every time we're together, besides the workout videos are awesome for me, just for a chance to work out with him and then be on his YouTube channel. But when I'm up there so far, every time we've done a Facebook Live for the Facebook group. So it's just literally, like you guys are sitting there, it's me and Seth, and we do go Facebook Live for like an hour and a half and just bullshitting with people and answering questions. And the people in the group love it because, not me, obviously, but
they're all in for you.
Yeah, we're because we're bringing Seth to them right there live. So just like anything, they're asking questions and firing stuff away at me and him. And so it's not every day, somebody's right there live, with Seth and asking them questions. So that's something that's been actually really fun, getting me and him in a room and just being recorded and doing a Facebook Live. So, but yeah, man, it's been great. They just flew me out to Houston for the American Fit Expo as well, and then I'll be at the Olympia with them. I'll be at the Arnold with them and stuff like that. So
that's cool. Right on.
They've hooked me up with everything. The supplements, the clothes. I'm getting a lot of the All American Roughneck, which is the clothing line Seth has, which is completely separate, from Axe and Sledge. And I didn't really expect any of that, but they're firing me all that stuff as well, all the clothes and hats and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been awesome, dude. I'm super happy where I'm at and the stuff that those guys are doing for me.
Yeah, it seems like it's picking up because I start to see it a lot. Like even just around here, I see a lot more like Seth's stuff, like the All American Roughneck, and even some of the Axe and Sledge stuff I see around here. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, the All American Roughneck is like a separate beast, man. They they do releases every, I don't know, every other month maybe or whatever it is. But the releases keep getting bigger and bigger as far as how many SKUs. And then plus they're getting more and more quantity. But like everything sells out in like the first day or two. So then like everybody's bitching like, I can't, but it's, how it is. You guys are in the clothing, that realm. It's like supply and demand. It's like people are just buying it up, man. And like, the last release they did was a June release, and it was the largest release they had. I think there was like 38 items or something like that, 36, 38 items. And I remember the night they released, people were screenshotting their orders. I kept seeing them on Facebook and on Instagram. Like, dude, people are, screenshotting $700 orders, $500 orders. And I'm seeing these. I was like, holy shit, man, people are just buying it up. But people are loving it, like the message behind it and everything. So yeah, they're definitely killing it, man, on both sides with Axe and Sledge and the All American Roughneck.
What would you say the difference is? Because you've been with 3 pretty big companies now, like so 5% work ethic and Axe and Sledge. What would you say the difference between those 3 is, like in terms of like success? Like what separates? I don't know. I guess what would you say is the biggest factor for like success across those 3 companies? Like,
yeah, well, like I've been, obviously, like you said, I've been super fortunate, man, to be arguably, I was with Rich for like almost 3 years. And then I'm with Cass Martin, who has, 2 million followers, and like the girls just absolutely love her. And then now with Seth, who has a huge following and people love him. So I've been like, every time I'll do like those Q&As on, like you do on Instagram. Like I had somebody ask me that one time. They're like, how the hell have you been lucky enough to be with like 3, arguably like some of the biggest names? But it's just like, and you were, with 5% as well. Like Rich, I think Seth reminds me of Rich in a way. Like and I've had a lot of people even say that to me. They're like, that Seth reminds them of Rich. Obviously, not as colorful and polar. I guess you're right. Like Rich used to say some really off the wall stuff, but people, it's the same thing with Rich. Like I think people either loved him or hated him.
Yeah.
And also but I think even the people that didn't like him always respected like his work ethic. And like Rich, to me, Rich would be there at every expo to the end. Right?
He was a man of the people for sure.
Yeah, so Rich, that was one thing I always tell people. Like Rich was awesome with the fans. You're talking about a guy who teetered between like 280 and 300 pounds. Like back always hurt, feet hurt. You know what I mean? So
being at those expos is not comfortable for somebody like that.
Dude, you've been at so many of them. Like even for me, I'm 200 pounds. Like by the end of the day, dude, my back hurts, my feet hurt. I'm like, and I'm not doing shit,
Yeah, nobody's taking pictures with me, and my shit hurts all the time. It's like,
yeah.
I can only imagine.
So I know, like a lot of these guys that are whatever, like big names or some of the IFBB pros, you go to these expos, and a lot of them have like a time slot. Like Phil Heath is going to be here from 2 to 4, and that's it. And it's like, that's one thing I loved about Rich is like Rich would get there in the morning. You remember, like we would all go have breakfast together. And then we would go to the expo, and there, I don't think there was a single expo I did with Rich that the security didn't kick us out. And I know you've been there for him. Yeah. Like they literally, I remember the Arnold. I think it was in 2017. The expo had closed. Like literally, like I think it was over at like 5 or something. It was like 5:30, and 90% of the expo was gone. And we probably had like 150 people in line still for Rich, and Rich is shaking hands and taking pictures, and security guys came up, and I remember it like it was yesterday. They were like, Rich, we got to cut it off. And Rich flat out said to the security guy, he goes, I'm not being the dick. He goes, you want to tell them, you tell them. And the security guy was just like, that's it, guys, come back tomorrow. And I'm like, here these people have been waiting in line for like 3 hours to meet Rich. So Rich was always, dude, and I think that's what brought him a lot of success. I mean, he started that movement, I think, also of the giving people, with 5%, we didn't have really a ambassador program. They do now, I think. But we had pretty much kind of like full type sponsorships. I mean, we didn't get paid money really, but we got a big allowance. Every month I got huge packages.
Oh, yeah. Those are some good days for supplements back in the
dude. I had more supplements than I knew what to do with, man. And clothes. I think at one point I gave my nephew and my stuff like that. Like I had like 50, 60, like 5% shirts. I'm just like, here, dude. But I think so. Rich gave a lot of people, the everyday Joe, kind of that platform and a chance. You know what I mean? Like yourself and me, and to kind of get in that industry and make a name for themselves. And marketing wise, the guy's a freaking genius.
100%.
I mean, he I think was the first, because, when you go back, most supplement companies had you had to be like an IFBB pro or, some hot bikini chick or whatever, a men's physique guy that's just shredded, and they only had a couple people. Well, Rich came on and brought all these people on and pretty much gave them monthly packages of clothes and subs, but he had all like an army out there promoting the company, and worldwide. I mean, I don't know how many countries 5% blew up in. So I think that was a lot of their success, obviously, and just Rich of who he was, obviously. The guy was polarizing as can be. And I think people loved that he said whatever the hell he wanted to say, which again, some people liked and didn't like. But
well, I also think that he knew Rich was a smart fucking dude. Like he knew that if he said some off the wall shit, like it would go viral in a heartbeat. And like that's just more publicity for him, more marketing for him,
Yeah. So that's what I tell people when people ask me about how it was Rich and all that. Like I think I did maybe like 7 expos, maybe something like that, 6 or 7 expos with 5%. And then, but like we would have breakfast together with Rich. We'd go to the expo, then we'd all go work out together as a team, and then we'd go have dinner. So it was like a lot of cool time being able to spend with Rich one-on-one. So that was always awesome. And I tell people just kind of like what we just said. I mean, like the dude was always about the fans, like always. You go to the gym to work out with them, you can never really work out. He spent 90% of the time taking pictures in the gym with everybody. So he was awesome. And then, I mean, going from that to Cass, same thing. I mean, she's just a huge star, on the Instagram world, I guess, or whatever. And, her fan base, I mean, I don't know the exact figures, but I imagine at least 75% of it's female based.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. But going to Seth, I think Seth he reminds people of Rich in that same thing, that same way of, he kind of says whatever he wants. He doesn't shy away from really any topic, as you can see in a lot of his YouTube videos. He talks about some of the stuff that's considered taboo, I guess, or whatever. Right. But he's very open about stuff, which I think people respect. And then with Seth, I think he relates more to the, Rich was a little flashy, clothes, cars. Seth is like the all-American, just good old hardworking, good old, you know what I mean? And I think he relates to a lot of people that say like, dude, he's just like one of us,
right.
Just a big ass bodybuilder, but he's kind of like one of us. And so I think that's why a lot of people are drawn to him and really like him as well. So, and he's kind of doing the same thing with, doing this ambassador program for Axe and Sledge, bringing this whole demo crew thing. Again, it's kind of given when we did this, we're not really technically looking for just people that compete. You don't got to be shredded. You don't got to be a huge bodybuilder. The whole idea was the same thing. Seth always talks about, he uses the term hardworking motherfucker. That's kind of what they were looking for with this demo crew. Like you said, or, we talked about earlier, it's like somebody that already buys the products, somebody that uses the products, that supports the brand already. And it's like, all right, this guy's in the gym busting his ass. Maybe he's not stepping on stage. Maybe he doesn't want to step on stage, but maybe the dude works hard. He's got a family and busts his ass. And like, all right, we want somebody like that to help represent the brand. So I think it's a good thing that they're also, meaning Axe and Sledge, giving the everyday person kind of that platform as well that a lot of companies don't give people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's very rare that you see like a decent sized company, with a bunch of guys that don't compete or aren't IFBB pros or I don't know. Yeah. It's funny because you'll see that. And then like, I remember when they did the 5% cuts or whatever, when they cut like half the team or whatever. And people used to get all upset because, like Caleb was still on the team and Caleb he's like just a construction worker. He doesn't compete or anything. It's like, yeah, he's a hardworking dude though. He works his ass off and that's what companies want. They don't care if you compete or if you're, if you're not busting your ass for them.
And I always remember, and again, to me, this is somewhat common sense, but I always remember Rich saying that, and Rich has said it in his videos and he said it in person. Rich is like, I'd rather sometimes, especially with social media and the power of it, Rich is like, I'd rather take a guy that just has never even competed, that has a good following, that engages with people. Because I'd rather have that guy than have the guy that's won, 10 pro bodybuilding shows that has no following. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, what is that guy bringing to the company? The guy that goes back to what you were saying before, even like the guys that used to contact you about Gunsmith. It's like the guys that really just bust their ass that might be nobodies are the guys that do better for your company than some, like you said, some ripped, shredded guy that competes and all that really does nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's a sense of entitlement almost like, oh, yeah, I compete, so I deserve this sponsorship. It's like, nah, you still got to work for shit.
Well, I've had, again, like going back to this demo crew, I've actually had a few people send me DMs on both Instagram and Facebook, kind of upset. Like they're part of the demo crew, but they voiced their opinion about that. Like, well, there's some people in here that, don't even look like they work out hardly. And and then they go on to tell me how great they are. Like, dude, I compete. I've done this. I've done that. And I'm kind of like, well, dude, if you're like, then just bust your ass. Like, if you're that good, then what are you worried about the other guy for? Just do whatever you do. You know what I mean?
There's no reason that you shouldn't be successful then.
Yeah, and we have that demo crew, but then we also have we're going to have an elite status, and we haven't bumped anybody up to that yet because we just started this like a month ago or whatever it is. But the elite status, which is all I explain in these videos because I recorded a bunch of videos that are in the back office that people can go through. and we talk about this elite status where they're going to get a supplement allowance, a supplement allowance for giveaways, be invited to the expos. So you're going to get way more stuff. So when these guys DM me and they're bitching about, well, I compete, I do this, I do that, I'm like, well, dude, if you're that awesome, then you should be the elite status and be getting all those other perks.
Yeah.
Like, so let's work, dude. Let's talk and more work. Let's go.
I don't know. It's like I'll see IFBB pros all the time or high level competitors or whatever, and I'll look at their social media. It's just a terrible social media. It's like they put zero effort into it. They just kind of assume that, oh, if I throw up a shirtless pic, like people are gonna worship me. It's like, nah, nowadays everybody's shredded. Everybody has veins and is benching 400 plus. Like you got to differentiate yourself nowadays.
Dude, two things on that. Like, I've seen, and I'm sure you have as well, like, there's been the IFBB pros. I've seen over the last, 4 or 5 years, I've even seen big name IFBB pros, the same thing. They're with, like, a supplement company, and then 6 months later, they're with another supplement company, and then 6 months later, and I'm like, I don't know what happens to their contracts or what they're doing, but I'm like you said, some of these guys are, like, really big names, and I'm like, how are they with a different company, like, every couple months? It's kind of weird. And then, like, what you said, there's so much stuff that's the same out there. It's like, and benching, whatever, 400 pounds. Like nowadays, dude, like you got girls doing crazy stuff.
Yeah, right.
Like, I see girls like squatting and benching and deadlifting like way more than me. And I'm like, fuck, dude, what the hell? Like, so there's like a lot of, like you said, competition out there. And that's kind of what it comes down to. It's like, what makes you special, or what can you bring to the company, or what, what I mean? It's like, you have to have something that differentiates you a little bit to bring some sort of value to the company. So it is what it is, I guess.
That's a pro tip 101 right there. That's the major key. If anyone's listening trying to get a sponsorship, that's the key.
Want to be a part of a company? Be unique. Bring something to the table.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I did an entire photo shoot for Gunsmith, and I wasn't even with them yet. A whole fucking photo shoot, dude.
Yeah.
I had like a whole week full of content every single day. It was like different gear or different this, like stuff that I all bought.
That you set up on your own.
That I set up. I set this whole photo shoot up by myself from a friend of mine who was a photographer, and all the clothes I had bought. And I was like, listen, man, I really like this company. I want to do a photo shoot for them. And then, and it all worked out.
Yeah. That's the type of grind that we respected. So, separate.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the same thing with 5%, man. Like I was using those, went on with them. Dude, I don't know how much money I spent. I mean, I had a lot of the supplements, a lot of the clothes, and that's what I was doing. Is if you go back to my page before I ever went on with them, like almost every post was 5%. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's money that I spent on clothes and supplements, and it's like that's what I don't know. I guess just because I went down that path. And then even with some of the other like food companies, like I was a paying customer before I started working with these. So to me, it's just, that's kind of the way I've done it. So that's why I guess maybe it kind of surprised me when so many people just, like you said, we've talked about, like, I've never even tried a product or whatever. And they're like, oh, I want to work with your company. And it's kind of like, how do you know anything about my company? Yeah. Like, how do you know you like the products, or how do you know? It's just, I don't know. It's weird to me.
Yeah. What's your favorite Rich moment? Like, what's the favorite moment you've had with Rich? Because
I don't know. Like, I don't know. He one of the things that was funny, and I don't know if this is a great moment, but I mean, like, one of the Ben and he was with ice cream, obviously, with Ben and Jerry's, and so one of the Arnolds, I was up there with him and Chanel. We were at breakfast, and I was sitting right next to Rich, and me and him started talking about. I asked him if he had a limited edition. For a while, they came out with a limited edition Cherry Garcia. Oh, really? But and instead of the ice cream, I think being like white, it was like chocolate or something. Whatever it is normal, it was like vice versa, right? Yeah, so me and him talking about it, because I had it, and we're talking or whatever, and so it was maybe like a month after the Arnold. I was at one of my kids' soccer games, and I had people texting me, and they're like, dude, Rich is talking about you in his video or something or whatever. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And they're like, he's talking about Ben and Jerry's. And it was like one of his videos where he's driving, of course, and Chanel's like filming him. And he starts talking about that Cherry Garcia, and he starts talking about how it's fucked up. You know, he was saying something about how the flavors are switched and whatever. And he started talking about, you know, me. You know, he's like, yeah, Dean told us at the Arnold. And he's like, you know, shout out to Dean Perrone, fucking 5%er, fucking motherfucker. Like, I had people like texting me and sending me messages about it. And I was like, that was cool. Like him talking about me and ice cream in his video and stuff like that. It was cool. I mean, working out with them was always cool. You know what I mean? Like, especially when we did the Orlando Europa. I have a bunch of pictures of me and him. You know, whatever gym we went to here of him going over some back stuff with me, and I got a bunch of pictures. I think Caleb actually took the pictures. You know, it's like Rich standing over me and doing stuff. I was doing like bent over rows or something. But I mean, all the stuff working out with him was always like a cool moment. So just bullshitting with him and you know, man, the guy was funny as hell. Like
he was a cool fucking dude.
Like I don't think people like he loved to like joke around with people and fuck with people, and I don't think people really knew that about him. You know, if you don't know him at all. So yeah, he was a good dude to be around, and like I always tell people, it was an awesome time for me to spend a couple of years and do like those expos with them and just have some time with him. You know, obviously with other people, but being able to like eat dinner and breakfast and different shit like that with them was really cool.
The breakfasts were always super cool. It was always super, I don't know. It was always cool just hanging out and just eating some breakfast. Oh, yeah. And I remember that was one of the things, like the fact that he would just pay for everyone's breakfast and just everything. It was I don't know. It's something so small, but it's like, damn, like he's paying for like 40 people to eat breakfast right now. Like,
yeah, and then after the expos, you know, he always used to like to go to the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
So we did like the Cheesecake Factory, same thing, and it was kind of cool. You'd walk into like the Cheesecake Factory or wherever for dinner. It was usually a decent place because Rich always liked, you know, when he would go to eat dinner, he always liked nicer places. It wasn't like you're going to eat at some shithole. And so you'd walk in, you know, we have 40 people like walking through a restaurant, you know, and people are just, and then you got him leading the pack. He's like a monster. And yeah, just like you said, it's like you go to breakfast and dinner, and like Rich would literally pay for the whole thing. But it was cool, man.
Yeah. R.I.P. Rich. I was actually watching the Bigger by the Day series the other day, like a couple episodes on YouTube. Okay. I was like, oh man, I remember when these came out. This was the shit back in the day.
Yeah, people love that.
Movies.
People love that, dude. Remember, people would be like waiting for the new video to come out. Remember, it was like.
Dude, and each one of those has like a couple million views. I was like, holy shit, he was killing the game back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people forget how big of an impact he had.
Yeah, it's funny. And like I've heard him say, like, you know, when he started YouTube, well, you know, like obviously, and I don't know the ins and outs of YouTube now, and I've always heard like some of the you know, it's changed, like monetizing it and all that. But I know, you know, obviously he was making money from YouTube and stuff. But I remember him saying, like, you know, when he started YouTube, it had nothing to do with money. He's like, I was just putting out like content, workout videos and shit like that. And he's like, then I started making money from it. So it became like a business really. So, but his videos, man, people loved his videos, man. Definitely. Especially that Bigger by the Day series was huge.
Oh man. I remember I saw him, we were at the LA Fit Expo. I think he was like right at the beginning of that or whatnot. And he was already like put up like 20 pounds. He was already added on 20 pounds. It was just so fucking big. It was just insane.
Well, when he was here and did the Orlando Europa with us, that was, I think, at the end of Bigger by the Day, and I think that's when I forgot what it was. Maybe it was like 305
I think he was getting over 305. That for sure.
Yeah. So, and I remember him saying to me, he was probably talking to me and who else, Caleb or somebody, but I mean, he was telling us how miserable he was. Yeah. You know, he's just, I'm ready for this to be over and start losing weight. You know, his whole thing was, I wanted to show people that you could put on this weight and put on this size and this amount of time, that it could be done. But dude, he was miserable. I remember him saying flat out, like, I'm miserable.
It was not a healthy move on his part, because I remember he did not look good with all. And then on top of that, you're standing for 8 hours, 9 hours on your feet.
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous. You want to drop your social media or anything for people to find you?
Yeah, my social media is just my name, so it's just at Dean Perrone. It's DeanPerrone. Instagram is pretty much where I spend most of my time. So I mean, you just check me out there. What you guys are going to be at the Olympia? I imagine, right?
I'll be at the. I don't know if
I don't know. I might not be.
But I'll be there for sure. I'm not going to be at a booth or anything. I'm just going to be hanging
Yeah.
out.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll have to link up. Maybe get a lift in or something.
Yeah, dude. I'll be there for sure. So
yeah.
I
don't know. I'm not really enjoying the Olympia lately. I don't know. Were you there? Did I see you last year?
Yeah. I think last year the Olympia to me, it's funny because when I was just in Houston, I was at that American Fit Expo just last weekend. And there was like 2 or 3 people. We got into a conversation about like the Arnold and the Olympia, and a couple people that I talked to, like even at the Houston one was like their first expo. They're like, I've never been to one, and even that was like pretty small, which I've done that before as well. But I told every person I talked to last week, and I'm like, if you have the opportunity, like if you have the choice to go to the Olympia or the Arnold, I'm like Arnold all day.
Yeah.
I'm like, but the Olympia, has. I think over the last couple of years, I know you've been too, like, I think it's been getting smaller and smaller. Like it feels like, and I know people don't sell a lot there. Like it feels just from other people I know that even are with other supplement companies are like, we don't sell shit at the Olympia. Like everybody buys at the Arnold. So I know some companies, and the Olympia is way more expensive.
Yeah,
for people.
It seems like they continue to raise the price too to set up a booth there. Like every year, it seems to be going up.
That's what I hear, man. So, and like I said, the trade-off, at least just from other people I've talked to, they're like, it's not even worth getting a booth because people are at the Olympia just to walk around or do whatever. I guess people don't move a lot of product, whereas the Arnold is like a madhouse, and like people are just spending money like crazy at the Arnold. But the Arnold to me is way more fun anyway. Like
there's more shit going on.
Oh, so much, dude. Well, that's the thing. It's like and anybody listening, if you've never been to either, I mean, the Olympia is really just bodybuilding. I mean, it's all it is, but at the Arnold, it's like, I remember like 4 or 5, or I guess 5 years ago when I went to my first Arnold, I'm like, dude, there's everything. I mean, you got like the strongman stuff. You got like powerlifting stuff. There's I remember going to the bathroom out in the hallway and there's like people fencing. Like there's like girls doing like gymnastics, arm wrestling. There's so many events going on. You're like, what the hell? There's stuff on like everywhere out in the hallways.
Just random shit too. There was like an axe throwing competition there. Like,
yeah.
I was like, what the? But it's cool because there's something for everybody.
Yeah, the Arnold to me is just pure chaos, like the most fun, and also it's like everybody that's anybody is at the Arnold. I feel like, right? Wouldn't you say? It's like
you can see just about anybody there.
Yeah, and I'm talking to like every supplement company, every clothing company, every food, like fitness food company, like everybody seems to be at the Arnold. Where the Olympia, I went and like last Friday I was with Casey Mitchell, right, the monster, and we were talking just about that, about the Olympia, and I had never heard this before, but you've been to the LA Fit Expo, right?
Yeah, personally, for me, it goes the Arnold, LA Fit, and then the Olympia.
Yeah, so I've only done one LA Fit Expo, which I loved. It was awesome. So me and him were talking about the Olympia and the Arnold and stuff. We were just going back and forth, and he said something about the LA Fit, or I did, but he told me that they're calling like the LA Fit Expo the Olympia Killer.
Yeah.
Like, because I've never heard that yet, but I'm like, it makes sense. But that's what he said. He goes, dude, the LA Fit Expo is the Olympia Killer because it's getting bigger and more popular than the Olympia even.
Yeah.
So
it seemed big this last year that we went.
I feel like the LA Fit's getting a little bit bigger every year, and the Olympia is definitely, because I remember the first time I went to the Olympia like 5 years ago, I think. It was that whole expo center. It went all the way to the back wall, and the men's physique and bodybuilding like prelims and stuff were in the very, very back, and it stretched that entire center basically. And then the last couple of years, it just gradually gets closer and closer to the front door. It's like,
yeah, last year seemed pretty small, man. Were you talking? Were you the year? Were you there the year like The Rock was there?
Yeah.
that that year I was there too. That was fairly big, and it seemed like
I think that was the second year. That was the second year I went. Maybe the very first year I went, it was fucking massive, and then that year was fucking big too because everyone heard that The Rock was going to be there.
Yeah,
and but yeah, every year since then has been shitty.
Yeah, last year was pretty small. I felt so.
Plus, it's so expensive to go to Vegas. Like everything's just fucking insane. Like I'd rather go to Ohio where you can. It may be more expensive for me to get to Ohio, but once I'm there, like it's not as expensive.
Yeah, you're not paying Vegas prices and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not paying
even the flight. I mean, for me, anyways, coming from Florida, like I whatever my flight is to Vegas, but I think last year my flight to Arnold, it was like $170 or something. It was like it's pretty cheap,
My mom was not that cheap.
but yeah,
right on.
I'll definitely see you at the Olympia if you're there, man.
Yeah, we'll have to link up for sure. All right, brother. Well, I appreciate you hopping in and dropping this. This was fun.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I know we kind of been trying to do this for a good month and a half, but like we said, with 4 kids, dude, it's like every weekend's like something happening.
I can only imagine, dude.
Yeah, we have a birthday party tomorrow with like 15 kids here. I'm like,
that sounds like my nightmare right there.
Yeah.
Enjoy that, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
But cool, man. Thank you guys very much for having me on.
Yeah, no worries, man.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
I'll see you guys
later, man.